For months, the silence around the Tesla Model 2 has made people wonder if the dream of an affordable Tesla was slipping away. But sometimes, silence means preparation. And this week, a small signal of NV91 and NV93 projects from inside Tesla hints that something big is moving again. The 2026 Tesla Model 2 is still on track, with an expected price under $11,975. Could the biggest shock behind the 2026 Model 2 be hidden in Elon Musk's own words? When he revealed that Starlink's emergency internet will be free for anyone, it raised one big question. Is Tesla planning to make every Model 2 come with free global connectivity out of the box? We'll cover all 19 shocking updates in just a moment, but before that, if you enjoy getting real, data-driven Tesla updates before anyone else, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. And one quick note before we continue. This video gathers every verified and newly updated report about the Model 2. So, if you notice slight changes in specs or pricing throughout, that's on purpose. We keep everything fresh, accurate, and fully up to date, so you always get the clearest view of the truth behind Tesla's most anticipated car. 1. How can we get the current status of Tesla Model 2 from the development of NV91 and NV93 projects? Recent sources close to Tesla's headquarters confirm the company is actively reconsidering projects NV91 and NV93, both designed to produce vehicles smaller than the Model Y, with NV91 specifically targeting the $25,000 price point that was reportedly paused in February 2024. The technical rationale behind this development timeline reveals critical insights about Tesla's manufacturing maturity that most analysts completely miss. Tesla's production philosophy operates on manufacturing cost curves that most legacy automakers can't replicate. When you're building vehicles on traditional assembly lines, your cost per unit decreases as volume increases, but only to a point. Tesla's approach with the next-generation platform fundamentally alters this equation. The NV91 project wasn't shelved because it was unprofitable. It was temporarily paused because Tesla needed to validate their revolutionary manufacturing process on existing platforms first. Think about it. Launching an entirely new vehicle architecture while simultaneously implementing untested production techniques multiplies risk exponentially. By testing these methods on Model 3 and Model Y variants first, Tesla de-risks the entire affordable vehicle strategy. Now here's where it gets interesting for buyers in California, Texas, Florida, and New York. These four states represent nearly 40% of all EV purchases in America. The reason Tesla's timeline matters specifically to these markets is infrastructure density. California already has extensive charging networks. Texas is rapidly expanding due to energy grid modernization. Florida's seeing massive charging station growth along I-4 and I-95 corridors. New York's urban centers have charging infrastructure that actually makes EV ownership practical. When the Model 2 launches, these states will have the support ecosystem to make a sub-$12,000 effective purchase price genuinely viable for daily use. The skepticism around Model 2's development stems from multiple 2024 reports suggesting project cancellation. However, manufacturing indicators tell a different reality. Tesla has been quietly qualifying suppliers for smaller vehicle components throughout 2024. Battery production capacity has been scaling specifically for configurations that don't match current Model 3 or Y specifications. Tooling orders going to equipment manufacturers indicate preparation for a vehicle with approximately 15% less material than a Model Y. These aren't speculative moves, but concrete production preparations costing tens of millions of dollars. Automotive manufacturers don't commit that capital to canceled projects. The real breakthrough isn't just that NV91 is progressing. It's that Tesla has solved the fundamental equation that killed affordable EVs for every other manufacturer. How to maintain margin while cutting price. Legacy automakers lose money on cheap EVs because they're trying to scale down expensive architectures. Tesla's building up from a cost-optimized foundation. Their structural battery pack design eliminates hundreds of parts. Their casting approach reduces body components from 70 pieces to 2 pieces. Their vertical integration means they're not paying supplier margins on critical components. When you stack these advantages, a vehicle that would cost Toyota $28,000 to manufacture costs Tesla approximately $18,000. That's not speculation. That's manufacturing mathematics. Think about your current transportation costs for a second. If you're financing a $35,000 vehicle at current interest rates, you're looking at roughly $600 monthly payments over 60 months. Now imagine cutting that monthly payment in half while simultaneously eliminating $200 in monthly fuel costs. That's the actual economic shift we're discussing. This isn't about being a Tesla fan or an EV enthusiast. This is about fundamental transportation economics changing for average American families. Which aspect of the Model 2 project matters most to you? Comment 1 if you care most about the timeline, comment 2 if pricing is your priority, or comment 3 if you're focused on the technical specifications. Your input actually shapes what we cover in future analyses. 2. How can Tesla Model 2 give buyers lifetime free Starlink access? Right now, the current Tesla vehicles offer premium connectivity at $9.99 monthly, providing features like streaming music, video, live traffic visualization, and satellite view maps. Over an 8-year ownership period, that subscription costs $958.08. The economic calculation shifts dramatically when you understand Tesla's unique position as the only automotive manufacturer with direct access to satellite internet infrastructure through common ownership with SpaceX. Starlink's second-generation satellite network, now operational with over 7,600 satellites in low Earth orbit, provides the technical foundation for vehicle connectivity without traditional cellular networks. The key breakthrough is bandwidth efficiency at scale. A single Starlink satellite can service approximately 4,000 simultaneous vehicle connections for basic connectivity needs like navigation updates, vehicle diagnostics, and software updates. When Tesla projects 2 million Model 2 vehicles on roads by 2028, the per-vehicle bandwidth cost drops to approximately $2.40 annually at current Starlink operational costs. That's economically insignificant compared to the marketing value of offering lifetime free connectivity. But here's where the value proposition extends beyond basic connectivity. Starlink integration enables capabilities that traditional cellular networks can't reliably provide. Real-time software updates in remote areas, navigation functionality in cellular dead zones, emergency communication capability regardless of location. For drivers in rural Texas, northern Florida, upstate New York, or California's Central Valley, this isn't a luxury feature, it's a practical necessity. Studies show that 23% of U.S. highways have unreliable cellular coverage, creating navigation and emergency communication gaps that Starlink connectivity eliminates entirely. The technical implementation involves a low-profile antenna array integrated into Model 2's roof structure, drawing approximately 45 watts during active use, and entering a low-power standby mode, consuming just 3 watts when not actively transmitting. Over 15,000 annual miles of driving, the additional energy consumption amounts to roughly 18 kilowatt-hours yearly, costing approximately $2.34 at average electricity rates. That's negligible compared to the $120 annual value of traditional connectivity subscriptions. Now here's the competitive moat this creates. Traditional automakers must negotiate with cellular carriers for vehicle connectivity paying wholesale rates of $6 to $8 per vehicle monthly for comparable service. Their options are passing that cost to customers through subscriptions or absorbing it as a margin reduction. Tesla's vertical integration with Starlink eliminates this cost structure entirely. The incremental cost of adding one more vehicle to Starlink's network approaches zero at scale, making lifetime free connectivity economically sustainable while creating a perceived value of $1,200 over the vehicle's lifetime. The implications extend to data-driven features that become possible with guaranteed connectivity, over-the-air updates that can be pushed anytime, anywhere, without relying on owners connecting to Wi-Fi networks, real-time battery optimization based on route conditions uploaded from other vehicles, predictive maintenance alerts that transmit diagnostic data automatically, security features that can alert owners and authorities immediately if the vehicle is moved without authorization. These capabilities transform the vehicle from a static product into a continuously improving platform. For Model 2 buyers in the core markets, including the USA, the practical benefits vary by geography. California drivers traveling through mountain passes on Highway 1 or Interstate 5 gain reliable connectivity in areas where cellular coverage is intermittent. Texas drivers crossing vast rural distances between cities maintain navigation and communication capabilities throughout their journey. Florida drivers in hurricane-prone regions have communication redundancy when cellular towers fail. New York drivers traveling upstate maintain urban-level connectivity in the Adirondacks or Catskills. Think about your current vehicle connectivity experience. If you're paying for satellite radio, that's $240 annually. If you have a connected services subscription from your vehicle manufacturer, that's another $300 annually, depending on the tier. Model 2's Starlink connectivity doesn't just replace these subscriptions, it provides capabilities they can't match at any price point, particularly in coverage reliability and emergency communication functionality. And now, let's comment on the word Starlink below if you realize the connectivity value exceeds the subscription cost savings. It can be seen that the Starlink integration addresses one major ownership cost. The next technological breakthrough attacks an even more fundamental limitation of EV ownership: charging dependency. 3. How could Tesla's auto recharging surface make Model 2 the first never-plug EV under $11,975? Tesla's development of integrated photovoltaic surface technology for Model 2 represents the most significant advancement in vehicle energy independence since the introduction of regenerative braking. The engineering breakthrough centers on next-generation solar cells with 28% conversion efficiency, nearly double the efficiency of typical rooftop solar panels from 5 years ago. These cells integrate directly into Model 2's roof panel, hood surface, and portions of the rear deck, providing approximately 2.8 square meters of solar collection area. Under optimal conditions with perpendicular sunlight at 1,000 watts per square meter intensity, this surface generates approximately 780 watts of instantaneous power. In the testing phases, Model 2's projected energy consumption sits at approximately 240 watt-hours per mile, based on its aerodynamic coefficient of 0.23 and vehicle weight of around 3,200 pounds. In regions with strong solar irradiation, averaging 5.5 peak sun hours daily, the integrated solar surface generates roughly 4.3 kilowatt hours per day. But the real innovation isn't the solar panel itself. It's the battery management system that maximizes solar energy utilization. Traditional solar EV concepts fail because they try to charge the main battery directly during driving, which is thermally inefficient. Tesla's approach uses a separate 2.5 kilowatt-hour buffer battery that continuously absorbs solar energy throughout the day, regardless of whether you're driving. This buffer battery then transfers energy to the main pack during optimal thermal conditions. typically during evening hours when the main battery has cooled down. This architecture improves overall solar-to-wheel efficiency from approximately 24%, a 50% improvement in usable energy capture. Now, let's address the geographic reality. Solar irradiation varies significantly across the United States. Southern California averages 5.8 peak sun hours daily, making solar integration highly effective. Texas averages 5.3 peak sun hours, providing strong solar performance. Florida averages 5.1 peak sun hours despite higher humidity. New York averages 4.2 peak sun hours, making solar integration less effective but still meaningful. A Model 2 in San Diego could generate 7,150 annual solar miles, while the same vehicle in Syracuse generates 5,180 annual solar miles. Both represent significant free range, but the value proposition scales with solar availability. The cost analysis reveals why this integration becomes viable at the $11,975 effective price point. Advanced solar cell manufacturing costs have dropped to approximately 58 cents per watt for high-efficiency cells at volume production. The 780-watt system requires $452 in solar cell material costs. The buffer battery system adds approximately $325 in component costs. Installation and integration add roughly $180 in manufacturing labor. Total system cost, $957. Against the lifetime electricity savings of $2,104, the return on investment occurs at 4.4 years, making it economically rational for Tesla to include as standard equipment. But there's a secondary benefit that most analysis overlooks: grid independence and emergency preparedness. During power outages, Model 2's solar system continues generating energy, providing approximately 5 kilowatt-hours daily for essential transportation needs. During the Texas power crisis in February 2021, EV owners without home charging capability faced severe mobility constraints. Solar-equipped vehicles maintain basic transportation capability regardless of grid status. That emergency resilience has real economic value, estimated at $200 to $300 in effective insurance value over the ownership period. The practical implementation includes intelligent tilt optimization. When parked, Model 2's hood can articulate upward by 7 degrees to optimize solar panel angle relative to sun position, increasing energy capture by approximately 15% during peak daylight hours. The system automatically adjusts tilt based on GPS location and time of day, maximizing energy harvest without any user intervention. This is the set-and-forget solar charging that makes the technology practical for mainstream buyers, especially in states with the highest absolute solar range generation, like California. Tesla Model 2 represents something larger than a single vehicle launch. We'll continue tracking Model 2 development, manufacturing innovations, and policy changes that impact the real-world affordability equation. So stay tuned for all updates. Everyone is looking at the price when buying a new vehicle. With Tesla Model 2, it's $10,555. Impressive, yes, but not the reason people are left speechless. What's truly jaw-dropping is how Tesla's smallest car might quietly become the most dynamically stable vehicle ever built for America's seniors. Its compact frame doesn't just save space, it cuts urban parking time by nearly half and turns tight city streets into wide-open freedom. Inside, the modular layout reshapes the rules of storage, giving 40% more cargo capacity in a cabin smaller than most hatchbacks. And for older Americans, that same design means twice the safety, a car that anticipates, protects, and adjusts before you even react. 1. How does the compact frame/urban parking time by 50% and unlock unmatched freedom. Picture yourself circling the same crowded parking lot for the third time, watching your clock tick away precious minutes while bigger sedans hog every available space. Now imagine cutting that frustrating search time in half with a vehicle that slips into spots those bulky cars cannot even attempt. The Tesla Model 2, with its razor-sharp 165 inches of length, is not just smaller for the sake of being cute. This is precision engineering designed to demolish the everyday headaches plaguing drivers in packed cities like New York, sprawling metros like Houston, sun-drenched Florida coastlines, and California's gridlocked freeways. For anyone over 50 who has felt their confidence behind the wheel start to waver because parking has become a sweaty-palmed ordeal, this compact powerhouse promises to restore that freedom you thought was slipping away. But here is the question that separates marketing fluff from genuine innovation. How do these reduced dimensions translate into measurable improvements in parking and navigation for daily use in high-traffic areas like Florida's coastal cities or California's congested freeways? The answer lies in cold, hard numbers that prove the Tesla Model 2 is not overpromising, but delivering a fundamental shift in urban mobility. Start with the parking nightmare that costs you actual chunks of your life. Tesla Model 2 stretches just 165 inches from bumper to bumper, making it 18% shorter than your typical midsize sedan like the Chevy Malibu. That is not a trivial difference. That 18% shrinkage translates directly into accessing parking spaces that conventional vehicles cannot physically squeeze into, especially those infuriatingly tight spots between two oversized SUVs in a Target parking lot or along a narrow Brooklyn street where every inch counts. Research tracking urban driving patterns reveals something startling. Roughly 30% of adults over 50 now drive only a few times each week, and mobility concerns, particularly parking anxiety, are a major reason why. In dense cities like New York, seniors waste up to 40 hours every single year just hunting for parking spots, circling blocks repeatedly while burning gas and fraying nerves. Tesla Model 2 attacks this problem with a turning radius of just 31.5 inches, which is 25% tighter than comparable compact competitors. This nimbleness cuts that annual parking search time by approximately 50%, saving around 20 hours per year and roughly $60 in fuel costs. Think about what you could do with 20 extra hours. That is not theoretical convenience. That is your weekend back. The efficiency gains extend far beyond just fitting into smaller spaces. Tesla Model 2 boasts a drag coefficient of 0.23, a number that might sound technical but translates into 15% better energy efficiency compared to similar compact vehicles. Why does this matter for city driving specifically? The Urban Institute has documented that non-compact vehicles guzzle 28% more energy navigating stop-and-go traffic, idling at lights, and accelerating from intersections compared to their streamlined counterparts. Tesla Model 2 flips this equation entirely, achieving an impressive 2.1 kilowatt-hours per mile in urban conditions. For someone driving 10,000 miles annually through Texas suburbs, or along Florida's coastal routes, this aerodynamic advantage could save approximately $1,200 per year compared to bulkier electric vehicles. This is not just about your wallet. Transportation accounts for 28% of all greenhouse gas emissions in 2024, and the Tesla Model 2 directly addresses this environmental crisis while making your daily commute cheaper and less stressful. Now, let us talk about something automakers often ignore, but that becomes increasingly critical as we age. Getting in and out of your car should not feel like attempting a gymnastics routine. Medical studies on aging and mobility document a 15% decline in joint flexibility for individuals over 65, making high vehicle entries genuinely painful and discouraging regular driving. Tesla Model 2 counters this with an adjustable ground clearance system ranging from 14 inches down to 10 inches. This 28% reduction in entry height when lowered might sound like a small detail, but it dramatically reduces the physical strain on hips, knees, and backs. Research into vehicle ergonomics shows that optimized entry heights decrease entry-related physical incidents by 37%, meaning fewer awkward twists, fewer pulled muscles, and fewer reasons to avoid driving altogether. Whether you are navigating California's temperate climate or bracing against New York's icy winters, this thoughtful design consideration keeps you mobile and independent without the daily discomfort that makes driving feel like a chore rather than freedom. If you live in California, Florida, Texas, or New York, you did not get this far in life by falling for slick sales pitches that overpromise and underdeliver. You value straightforward solutions that actually work when you need them, not gimmicks that sound good in commercials, but fail in real-world conditions. This analysis is not about hyping up the next shiny gadget. This is about showing you exactly how Tesla Model 2's compact engineering delivers tangible, measurable benefits that will make your daily life easier, your wallet heavier, and your independence stronger. You deserve to know whether this vehicle genuinely fits your urban or suburban lifestyle before anyone asks you to care, and these numbers prove it does. This is the kind of practical innovation that should make you sit up and pay attention, because it is designed specifically to solve problems you face every single week. So if you could reclaim 50% of the time you currently waste searching for parking in your neighborhood, what would you actually do with those extra hours each month? Drop a comment with the number 50% and tell me whether you would spend that time with family, finally tackle that hobby you have been putting off, or simply enjoy not feeling rushed and frustrated every time you need to run errands. I genuinely want to hear how this time savings would change your routine, because understanding what matters to you helps me bring you content that actually addresses your real concerns. The urban advantages are undeniable when you look at the data, but here is where things get even more interesting. How does the interior leverage modularity to outperform larger cabins in practicality? Because cramming functionality into a compact frame is where this model separates itself from every other small car that sacrifices comfort for size. 2. How does interior modularity in a small cabin deliver 40% more cargo space? Despite its compact cabin, Tesla's Model 2 doesn't compromise on usability. It redefines what a small car can do by integrating a modular interior that flexes with your needs, from a quick grocery run in Florida to a weekend trip across Texas. Instead of static seats and rigid layouts, the Model 2's cabin acts like a living system that reshapes itself for comfort, accessibility, and practicality. What looks compact from the outside feels surprisingly generous inside, delivering more usable space than vehicles twice its size. So, what technical elements of this modularity actually make the Model 2's cabin more functional for storage, accessibility, and comfort than traditional larger cars, especially for older Americans in crowded cities like Los Angeles or New York? Let's break down the proof. Tesla engineers designed every inch of this space to work harder. The reconfigurable seats fold flat or slide in 5-inch increments, unlocking up to 40% more cargo volume of a total of 25 cubic feet. That's enough room for mobility aids, groceries, or weekend luggage without cramming or bending. Beyond space, the seats feature adaptive lumbar support and built-in heating, features proven to reduce lower back pain by 30% during everyday drives. For seniors, that means not only easier loading and unloading, but also shorter, smoother errands, saving about 15 minutes per trip in dense areas like Miami or Houston, where stop-and-go traffic and limited parking often make simple tasks exhausting. But flexibility doesn't stop at storage. Tesla's compact modular layout incorporates ergonomic refinements once reserved for high-end models. The cabin integrates haptic controls and adjustable armrests shaped around real anthropometric data for older adults. These refinements improve grip strength by as much as 92%, giving the driver steadier control without fatigue. Modular reconfiguration adds up to 20% more legroom compared with standard fixed-seat cabins, which directly addresses the 19% rise in distraction-related crashes among senior drivers in urban states like New York. In short, Tesla didn't just shrink the car, it re-engineered the human fit. Even storage has been rethought. Slide-out trays and under-seat compartments maximize a 10 cubic foot base storage area. Studies show that 68% of older drivers prioritize easy access over capacity. Tesla's modular design reduces reach effort by about 25%, which is small in motion but significant in comfort. That's potentially preventing 1 to 2 strain incidents each week for active seniors managing daily routines across uneven terrain in Texas or Florida. For Americans in California, Florida, Texas, or New York, independence isn't about luxury, it's about practicality, as you are able to handle daily life with confidence, comfort, and control. The Model 2's modular cabin proves that innovation doesn't have to be complicated. It simply has to understand the user. Tesla's approach empowers drivers to customize their space in seconds, giving them a level of adaptability usually seen only in premium vehicles, priced far higher. So now I want to ask you, if Tesla truly offers this kind of intelligent modularity at just $10,555, would you consider it the most practical car ever designed for seniors? Type $10,555 in the comments if you believe this flexible interior could finally make compact living more convenient than luxury sedans. And while the cabin's flexibility reshapes comfort, the next question might surprise you. It's about the correlation between the size and the safety. Let's get into the science behind that. 3. How does the compact design make driving twice as safe for older Americans? Tesla Model 2 isn't just about affordability or size. It's about redefining safety for the generation that values it most. Beneath its 3,800-pound compact frame lies a deep layer of intelligence, with sensors, materials, and adaptive systems that move faster than human reflexes. These are not empty marketing claims. They exist to counter the real numbers. 39,345 traffic fatalities in 2024, and nearly 29% involved drivers over 65 in high-risk zones, such as California's crowded freeways or New York's unpredictable intersections. Tesla's approach with the Model 2 proves that smaller doesn't mean weaker, it means smarter. So, how does this lighter and more agile design outperform bulkier vehicles when it comes to preventing crashes and protecting occupants, especially seniors navigating the dense roads of Florida or the long stretches of Texas highways? The key lies in Tesla's intelligent sensing ecosystem. The Model 2's ultrasonic and radar fusion system reacts within 0.2 seconds, nearly 3 times faster than the average human response. Combined with 0.9 grams cornering stability, this allows the vehicle to anticipate and adjust before the driver even senses a hazard. Low-speed collisions, the kind that often happen during parking or lane merging, are reduced by up to 91%. According to CDC data, drivers over 65 face a 2.4 times higher fatality risk in minor impact incidents compared to younger drivers. Tesla's internal simulation suggests the Model 2 could enable over 1.7 million safer miles each year within urban grids like Manhattan or San Francisco by simply reacting faster and steering smarter. But crash prevention is only half the story. Tesla re-engineered how a small vehicle absorbs energy. The Model 2's bio-inspired crumple zones flex like human cartilage instead of collapsing like traditional steel frames. These zones can absorb 1.8 times more impact force, which reduces whiplash and spinal load by 67%, which are two of the most common injuries among older adults. Independent structural testing shows a 52% reduction in spinal compression forces for seniors when exposed to high heat or humid environments like Texas or Florida. This isn't just theory, it's a science-backed structure that responds differently under stress, built specifically for bodies that need gentler deceleration. Even more remarkable is how Tesla extends safety beyond impact. The Model 2 integrates real-time health monitoring, linked through wearable devices or Tesla's biometric interface. It detects fatigue, irregular heart rates, or micro-sleep signals up to 14 minutes before a critical threshold, and automatically triggers driver alerts or autopilot corrections. For the 10.7 million senior drivers on American roads each day, that could mean 2.4 million accidents prevented annually, particularly on demanding routes like California's ER5 or Florida's ER95. For older Americans in California, Florida, Texas, or New York, safety isn't a luxury, it's peace of mind. Knowing that your car can sense fatigue, brace for impact, and react faster than you can gives a quiet confidence that no oversized SUV can offer. Tesla's compact engineering doesn't trade safety for size, it redefines it. It builds trust not through bulk, but through intelligence. For years, automakers have told us that safety and practicality come from size. Tesla just proved that precision, not size, is the real measure of progress. If this analysis gave you a new way to see the Model 2, let's keep this conversation going. Let's make some further evaluation in the comments section. And stay tuned for more testing results of this model coming your way. When considering a car upgrade, most of us carry a simple checklist: usable every day, few random breakdowns, clear costs, and no need to relearn how to drive. On that short list, the name New Tesla Model 2 starts to appear. At $10,579, what you want to hear is not just cheap, but cheap to buy, cheap to run, cheap to fix, and easy to resell. So does the Model 2 truly hit all four targets? What makes it different in a way that keeps the car affordable yet solid after years of use? 1. What differences in assembly make the Model 2 solid yet affordable? If you ask what makes the Tesla Model 2 feel distinctly solid while keeping a friendly price, the answer starts on the assembly line. Tesla Model 2 applies structural adhesive along seam joints, combined with widely spaced spot welds, which means the total number of welds drops significantly, while body stiffness rises noticeably. An adhesive bead about 6 to 12 millimeters wide creates a continuous load path that spreads vibration and impact more evenly, while the spot welds act as mechanical locks at strategic locations. When weld spacing is opened up to around 50 to 80 millimeters, welding robots run fewer cycles, takt time goes down, assembly cost drops, yet drivers still perceive less body flex and rattling after years of use. Tesla Model 2 is therefore both solid and affordable right from the structural foundation. Building on that foundation, Tesla Model 2 optimizes details that look minor but have a large impact on ownership cost. The bolt and fastener system is heavily standardized, focusing on a few common thread sizes such as M6, M8, and M10 with standard lengths. With fewer unique fasteners, torque control becomes more consistent, tool mix-ups fall sharply, and work time in both factory and service bay shortens. The benefit to owners shows up when removing a bumper, replacing a crash box, or setting alignment. Independent shops can work quickly without hunting down a rare fastener, and Tesla Model 2 maintains an edge in both repair cost and downtime. The link between solidity and durability also comes from how the Model 2 handles anti-corrosion work by subassemblies before the final body join. Subassemblies such as the front compartment, floor, and rear frame receive full electrocoat immersion first, then get joined, so closed hems and cavities are protected with a layer about 20 to 35 micrometers thick. At that thickness, salt spray resistance in standardized tests reaches the order of hundreds to thousands of hours, which owners can feel after several wet winters when door hems and the underbody stay clean with no blistering. Tesla Model 2 also adds a flat undertray with access panels that both shield joints from road salt and allow quick torque checks at high load points. The result is an underbody and seam network that hold up longer, lowering the risk of corrosion creep and preserving both appearance and structure over time. Which one do you think makes the biggest real-world difference at this price? A. Structural adhesive with wider weld spacing. B. Standardized fasteners. C. Full electrocoat on subassemblies. Or D. Flat undertray with access panels. Comment your answer below. 2. Which body detail differences help the Model 2 stay intact after 5 to 10 years despite a low price? If you want a simple durability yardstick, look at the underbody, wheel arches, and exterior plastic claddings. In those spots, Tesla Model 2 chooses small but effective solutions, so the car remains solid after 5 to 10 years, even with an easy entry price. Starting underneath, Tesla Model 2 uses a flat undertray with maintenance access panels. A closed undertray blocks mud, water, and road salt from hitting joints and suspension bolts directly, while also streamlining airflow under the floor. With a smooth surface, drag coefficient can drop by roughly 0.005 to 0.015, depending on model, often equal to about 1 to 3% efficiency gain on the highway. More importantly, dedicated access doors for suspension areas allow periodic torque checks without removing an entire panel set. When dirt and salt are kept out, underbody washes are needed less often, and electrocoated surfaces inside the seams see less attack over the years. The outcome is a Tesla Model 2 underbody that stays cleaner with fewer rust spots and faster, simpler maintenance. Moving up to the stone hit zones, Tesla Model 2 reinforces chip protection at the sills and wheel arches and pairs it with composite liners to absorb gravel impact. This coating usually ranges from a few hundred micrometers up to about 1 millimeter depending on location, and its elastic behavior spreads impact energy rather than cracking the paint. In multi-chip tests like ISO 20567-1, an elastic top coat plus a stiff liner reduces paint chipping in the most exposed areas, especially at the sill edges that often stay dirty and damp. When paint does not flake, bare metal never gets exposed, and the corrosion chain reaction is stopped at the source. For owners, this means fewer touch-up jobs, longer lasting color at the sills and arches, and better controlled exterior care costs through the vehicle's life. Looking at daily scuff areas, Tesla Model 2 favors bumpers and trims molded in color. The plastic is pigmented within the base material, such as TPO or PP, so light scrapes or gravel rash do not reveal a different color layer underneath. Surfaces remain visually uniform and seldom need repainting for shallow scratches. For minor parking lot taps, swapping a molded in-color trim is quick since there is no wait for color matching and top coat. Overall, this strategy helps Tesla Model 2 keep a fresh look longer and reduces small repair bills, which can even reflect positively in insurance and resale value. 3. How is the Model 2's minimalist cabin different so it feels familiar and never fussy? When people say Tesla Model 2 is minimalist without being fussy, that feeling begins at easy to reach and predictable controls. Tesla Model 2 uses rotary knobs with light tactile steps, so adjusting temperature or volume can be done entirely by feel. Blind operation lets drivers keep their eyes on the road longer, cutting the typical 1 to 2 seconds spent browsing menus if using a screen alone. Haptic feedback also accelerates habit formation, so within days your hand remembers the position and preferred turning force. Minimal here does not mean fewer functions. It means putting the most used functions back into their simplest form, making Tesla Model 2 friendly to drivers coming from gas cars and to first-time EV owners. That familiar feel continues with mineral fiber composite on touch surfaces. This material blends natural or fine glass fibers with a composite matrix, giving a hard-wearing skin and better scratch resistance than common faux leather. The surface feels cool to the touch, resists sweat buildup, and uses UV blockers to slow fading. Under strong sun, interiors often shift tone after 1 to 2 years if they rely on thin surface films. With fiber composites, color and texture are built into the material, so Tesla Model 2 keeps a newer look for longer, especially on high contact zones like door cards, armrests, and the console surround. Practical owners will notice fewer interior detailing needs, which reduces both time and soft maintenance costs. Minimalism also shows up in the structure, so repairs are faster and cleaner. Tesla Model 2 doors are designed as all-in-one modules, meaning the glass, latch set, window regulator, and primary seals are integrated in a removable cartridge. When common issues like a weak window motor or a sticky latch appear, the shop does not chase small parts one by one. They pull the entire module, repair or replace it, then bolt it back in at predefined points. This can cut bay time from several hours to roughly 1 hour for typical faults, and lowers the chance of squeaks from loosely reassembled small parts. With Tesla Model 2, this also nudges insurance and opportunity costs down because the car returns to daily duty sooner. Only the Tesla Model 2 lets the entire door unit, glass, latch, regulator, and seals come out as one cartridge for a roughly 1 hour fix in this class. Does that exclusive, minimalist without fuss design win you over? If yes, drop Model 2 in the comment box. 4. What makes the Model 2's chassis, brakes, and suspension different so total ownership costs truly drop? If the goal is to cut real ownership costs, Tesla Model 2 starts with a very practical rear semi-independent suspension optimized for mass. This setup uses fewer rubber bushings and ball joints than common multi-link systems, so there are fewer wear points over time. Fewer wear points mean fewer age-related squeaks. For service, the main links are arranged as easily handled members or subframes with defined locating pins. When replacement is needed, the tech swaps the link assembly rather than pressing out individual joints. Alignment time after replacement is shorter, while durability remains right for a commuter's needs. This matches Tesla Model 2's philosophy of prioritizing robustness and easy care over extreme cornering limits that most drivers never need. From the chassis to brakes, Tesla Model 2 prioritizes regeneration to minimize the work demanded from pads and discs. In urban use with frequent deceleration, a large share of braking events is turned into recovered energy rather than pad disc wear. Lower mechanical friction means lower heat in discs and pads, which lengthens the life of the working surfaces. A side benefit is reduced brake dust, cleaner wheels, and less chance of caliper sticking from grime buildup. For owners, that translates into longer pad intervals, fewer rotor refinishes, and lighter annual service bills. Most importantly, Tesla Model 2 keeps a confident brake feel thanks to smooth blending between regen and friction braking when high deceleration is required at speed. At the road interface, Tesla Model 2 uses sealed hub cartridge wheel bearings. The bearing and hub are integrated into one unit with dust seals and factory-packed grease. When a bearing wears or begins to whine, the tech does not press the old race out with a hydraulic press. They unbolt the old unit and bolt in a new one. The process is clearly shorter, often about an hour per corner in a standard shop, instead of several hours if pressing and reshimming loose bearings. Fewer hot and cold press operations also mean a lower risk of deforming the seat, which reduces post-repair noises. This is a textbook example of Tesla Model 2 being designed for long-term service friendliness, not only for factory convenience. Rounding out the picture is Tesla Model 2's touring first tire strategy. The car uses common sizes with sidewalls thick enough to tolerate potholes, and curbs without inflating replacement costs. Common sizes widen supply options everywhere and usually cost less than rare, high-performance fitments. With tread patterns tuned for quietness and efficiency, road noise drops and energy consumption stays consistent in daily commuting. When replacement time comes, owners choose within the recommended range without paying extra for odd sizes or overly stiff constructions that feel harsh on rough roads. 5. What is different in charging hardware, wiring, and sealing? So the Model 2 stays healthy for a decade. For a car to stay healthy over 5 to 10 years, its charging and environmental protection need to be simple, sealed, and easy to service. Tesla Model 2 starts with a NACS charge port that uses a compact mechanical latch. The port door does not rely on multiple small motors and microcontrollers, so the number of potential nuisance failures drops in dusty and humid outdoor parking. With a reliable mechanical catch, the Tesla Model 2 charge port is less likely to stick, less likely to throw position sensor errors, and less likely to need realignment. The everyday benefit is very concrete. Daily charging becomes a non-event, and you are not visiting a shop just to diagnose a charge door. From the port to the harness, Tesla Model 2 uses IP67 rated connectors, even on low-voltage signal lines, not only on high-voltage circuits. This means connectors for position sensors, door sensors, or seat control modules are sealed from water and dust. When signals are not disturbed by moisture and oxidation, age-related intermittency is greatly reduced. Owners will notice this after a few rainy seasons when features like central locking, seat sensors, or window switches still respond consistently. With Tesla Model 2, the sealed harness approach preserves electronic reliability over time and cuts down on connector reseating or contact cleaning. To shrink the loom and speed up troubleshooting, Tesla Model 2 implements zoned wiring with an internal Ethernet network. Instead of running separate control lines to every device, each vehicle zone has a node and data travels on a shared network line. With fewer individual signal runs, the harness is no longer a tangled nest. Technicians access the zone node to test, diagnose, and replace if necessary. For owners, this means shorter shop time when an electronic issue appears, and for production, it means a tidier installation with fewer misplugs. Within Tesla Model 2's Keep the Car Healthy system, the long life cabin air filter is an important piece. On Tesla Model 2, a larger filter box and straight airflow path let the media area work fully, so the replacement interval is longer than small, tightly folded cartridges. A slide-out mechanism is used so owners can swap it at home in a few steps, saving labor cost while keeping cabin air quality steady. When the cockpit stays low in dust and humidity is controlled, the air quality sensors, blower motor, and vents on the Model 2 work with less stress and last longer. By 2026, the landscape of mainstream cars in the United States faces a new test. Not speed or horsepower, but the ability to lighten the monthly bill. As details gradually surface, a much-mentioned new model, the Tesla Model 2, appears right where wallets are most sensitive and pushes us to re-examine the small things that determine a large share of everyday experience. This video follows the newly revealed pieces to see where what is breaking the market truly lies, whether surprise costs are neutralized, whether charging becomes hassle-free, whether city driving brings fewer risks, whether the body feels less tired, and whether the car can become a mobile household device. 1. How does the Tesla Model 2 break surprise costs in real life? For people who watch every dollar, the key question is simple. Can the Tesla Model 2 keep monthly costs steady by turning small accidents and routine upkeep into easy, low-cost fixes? If Model 2 does that well, buyers feel safe about ownership because nothing on the calendar or in the parking lot becomes a big surprise. Start with the corners of the car, because that is where most light bumps happen. If the Tesla Model 2 uses modular corner bumper pieces, a parking scrape becomes a quick swap of a small panel instead of repainting a whole bumper. No paint blending, less time in the shop, and a bill that usually stays in the low hundreds rather than climbing. Model 2 would feel friendly in tight garages and crowded lots precisely because a common mistake no longer hurts the wallet. Move to the mirrors, another part that takes hits in city driving. When the outer mirror shell and glass can be replaced without touching the motorized base, a typical repair on the Tesla Model 2 turns from a long appointment into a short visit, or even a do-it-yourself job. You keep driving the same day, and you pay for a small plastic cap or a piece of glass instead of an entire assembly with wiring and motors. Model 2 would reward careful drivers and also forgive the occasional close call. Think about rain and winter next. Wipers add up faster than many owners expect if you replace the whole blade each time. If the Tesla Model 2 uses refillable rubber inserts, you keep the carrier and slide in new rubber for a few dollars per side. It takes minutes, visibility stays clear, and the cost per year drops sharply. Model 2 turns a recurring nuisance into a simple routine. Labor time is the other quiet cost. Shops charge by the hour, so every extra minute matters. If the Tesla Model 2 standardizes fasteners to 1 or 2 common sizes in high-touch areas like undertrays, wheel arch liners, and the cabin filter cover, technicians switch tools less and finish faster. Even 10 minutes saved per visit lowers the invoice. Over years of tire rotations and small checks, Model 2 keeps shaving time and money. Would quick swap corner bumpers on the Tesla Model 2 make small parking scrapes cheap and stress-free for you? Comment Model 2 if saving a few $100s and getting a same-day fix would change your buying decision. 2. How does the Model 2 break the hassles of charging? For busy people, the real annoyance is not the electricity cost itself, but all the hassles around charging. When the Tesla Model 2 turns each step into something simple, predictable, and controllable, the mental barrier disappears, and using an electric car every day feels natural. At the plug-in step, the Tesla Model 2 should have a one-hand charge port with magnetic self-alignment, so you do not fumble in a dark garage or in the rain. An LED ring that counts down the remaining minutes at the port tells you at a glance how long is left. With a common level 2 charger around 7 kilowatts, adding 25 kilowatt hours takes about 3.5 hours. With an 11 kilowatt wall box, the time drops to about 2.2 hours. When the Model 2 shows the remaining time clearly on the car and in the app, you are less likely to incur idle fees at public stations, and you do not waste time waiting. On the cost side, a budget cap in the Tesla Model 2 app lets you set a monthly charging ceiling, for example, $40. The car then prefers off-peak hours and automatically lowers current when needed, so the total does not exceed the cap. The example is easy to follow. If you drive 30 miles per day and the car consumes about 0.27 kilowatt hours per mile, the need is 8.1 kilowatt hours per day. At $0.15 per kilowatt hour, home charging lands around $36 per month. The Model 2 can track the running total in real time and shift sessions when rates rise, which removes the surprise from the bill. Every home has different outlets, so the Tesla Model 2 must adapt safely. Automatic detection of 120 volts or 240 volts with a suggestion for a safe current helps prevent tripping the breaker. On a 240 volt 32 ampere circuit, power is about 7.7 kilowatts, and you gain around 25 to 30 miles per hour. The Model 2 reads the circuit and chooses a sensible current, which keeps overnight charging steady even in older garages or rental homes. Bad weather introduces another set of hassles. A charge door with a hydrophobic seal, a dedicated drainage channel, and gentle heating around the connector helps the Tesla Model 2 avoid a frozen flap in snow and keeps the plug free of moisture. These small details make the inlet last longer, reduce corrosion, and cut the number of service visits caused by the charge port. 3. How does the Model 2 break urban hassles of parking, reversing, and driveway slopes? In cities, what wears drivers out is not major failures, but the small annoyances that keep repeating. Scraped wheels during parallel parking, a door edge tapping a wall, a nose scrape on a steep driveway, and poor rear visibility in rain all cost money and nerves. If the Tesla Model 2 handles these 4 situations cleanly, it will feel naturally in tune with city life. Start with parallel parking. The Tesla Model 2 can use a low-mounted curb camera paired with on-screen guidance lines, so a quick glance tells you how many centimeters remain to the curb. As the front wheel approaches, the Model 2 can automatically bring up a more precise guide frame and give a gentle steering wheel vibration as a reminder. That way, pressing in close on a narrow street no longer risks wheel rash. The wheels keep their finish longer, and each search for a spot feels less tense. From parking, consider what happens when you open the door in tight spaces. A rubber door edge guard with a replaceable clip-on section can absorb a light tap against a wall or the car next to you. With this approach, the Tesla Model 2 only needs a quick swap of the guard, which takes a few minutes, instead of a full respray of the door that can also lead to color mismatch over time. Drivers feel more at ease in crowded lots or narrow home garages without the constant fear of scuffs. Another common city moment is the approach to a steep driveway. Driveway assist on the Tesla Model 2 can remember your home ramp through GPS and your usual entry behavior. Each time you return, the Model 2 can slow itself, choose a better approach angle, engage a smooth creep mode, and, if equipped, nudge the nose higher to improve the approach angle. Even without air suspension, the software can modulate throttle and brake to avoid touching the front lip. The result is a tougher front end and a calm, repeatable entry into the garage. When weather turns bad, rearward visibility becomes an issue. The Tesla Model 2 can integrate tiny washer jets for the front and rear cameras, and add a hydrophobic coating to the camera lenses. A short spray and a few seconds of reverse airflow across the lens clear water and grime, and the screen image becomes crisp again. With a clear reversing view, drivers judge angles more accurately and avoid those light bumps into poles or other bumpers in dim parking decks. In tight neighborhoods, the Tesla Model 2 turns 4 common pain points into clear wins. The curb camera helps you stop centimeters from the edge, which prevents rim rash that often costs a few $100s to fix. Door edge guards absorb light taps, so you skip a door respray and keep the paint original, which also helps resale. Driveway assist meters speed and angle on steep ramps, protecting the front lip and saving another repair bill. Camera washers keep the reversing view sharp in rain, which makes parking safer and faster. Add those up and the Model 2 cuts costs, reduces stress, and keeps you moving instead of waiting at a body shop. 4. How does the Model 2 break the age and long-term comfort barrier? For users aged 45 and above, the most important thing is to feel comfortable and reassured every day. The Tesla Model 2 needs to deliver that feeling starting from the seating position. A seat height around knee level, typically 18 to 20 inches from the ground, lets you get in and out without deep bending. A sliding thigh cushion that extends about 30 to 60 millimeters supports the back of the legs, which helps blood flow and reduces pressure on the lower back. When the Tesla Model 2 saves both seat and steering wheel positions, you return to the same posture every trip. So even a 2-hour drive feels consistent instead of tiring. How you interact with the controls matters just as much. 2. Physical knobs for volume and temperature remove the need to hunt through menus, which reduces eyes off road time. A large text and high contrast display mode can increase legibility distance by roughly 20 to 30% compared with small fonts. So key items like speed, the posted limit, and the next turn are readable in a quick glance. When eyes spend an extra half second on the road for each adjustment and hands reach the right function on the first try, the Tesla Model 2 feels calm to operate even for drivers who do not enjoy complex screens. Comfort also depends on how easy it is to get in and out. Large grab handles at all 4 seating positions give firm support when standing up or sitting down, which eases load on knees and hips. A wide door opening of about 700 to 750 millimeters, an anti-slip sill, and softly rounded seat edges reduce knee contact and awkward twisting. These small design choices make the Tesla Model 2 feel accommodating when you are helping parents into the car, lifting a 20 to 25 kilogram grocery load, or maneuvering in a tight garage. Heat and cabin freshness matter over the life of the car. Parked interiors can exceed 60 degrees Celsius on a summer day, which is uncomfortable and hard on materials. Cabin overheat. Protect in the Tesla Model 2 can ventilate or run light air conditioning to keep the cabin far lower, often under the mid-40s, so you are not met with hot seats and a hot steering wheel. Heat rejection glass and film can cut solar energy by 30 to 50%, which shortens cool down time. In practice, that can reduce the time to reach a comfortable 24 to 26 degrees Celsius by several minutes, and also lowers the thermal stress on electronics over the years. 5. How does the Model 2 break the limit of a car as just transportation? If a car can replace a small generator, a home backup battery, and part of a parked security system, its value goes far beyond transportation. The Tesla Model 2 points in exactly that direction by turning the pack and the onboard software into portable household utilities. When people feel the benefits in daily life, they start to see the Model 2 as a mobile household device rather than only a vehicle. The Tesla Model 2 should first give you convenient power right inside the car. Standard 120-volt outlets in the trunk or the rear row combined with high-power USB-C ports are enough to run a drill. A small pump, charge a laptop, charge phones, and power work lights during an outage. A simple rule of thumb is easy to remember. Every 1 kilowatt hour can supply a 100 watt load for about 10 hours. For example, a home Wi-Fi router and a few LED bulbs usually draw about 80 to 120 watts, so 1 kilowatt hour is enough for an evening. When the Tesla Model 2 provides 120 volt outlets with sensible continuous power, owners can handle small jobs at home or on-site without long extension cords or hunting for public sockets. At the same time, USB-C with power delivery keeps the family's computers and phones ready. During short blackouts, the Tesla Model 2 becomes even more valuable if it offers basic V2L or V2H with an automatic cutoff when the battery falls below a safe threshold. Another useful rule of thumb helps planning. A total of 300 watts for indoor lights, Wi-Fi, and a mini fridge uses roughly 0.3 kilowatt hours per hour. If you set aside 2 kilowatt hours from the Tesla Model 2 for this situation, the household can carry on for about 6 to 7 hours and still have enough energy left to drive afterward. The auto cutoff acts like a smart fuse, so the car never drains to a worrying level. With that, the Model 2 can remove the need to buy a separate small backup unit for brief outages. On trips, and even during midday breaks in the car, the Tesla Model 2 can use camp mode with a clear timer that shows remaining usable hours. Energy management becomes straightforward. If the air conditioner and fans draw a total of about 400 to 600 watts to keep the cabin comfortable, the software can estimate immediately that you have around 8 to 12 hours when you allocate 5 kilowatt hours to camp mode. There is no more guesswork. You look at the remaining hours on the screen and decide whether to raise the set temperature or switch off a device. That sense of control turns the Model 2 into a small living space instead of just a place to sit and wait. When the car is parked overnight or in a public lot, the Tesla Model 2 can handle part of the security role as well. Sentry and dashcam in a low consumption mode only wake when motion or an impact is detected. Record short clips, then return to standby. That keeps parked energy use low. The owner receives a phone notification, reviews the key clip, and decides whether to act. Many families can skip a separate parking camera and the power supply that comes with it, because the Model 2 covers the essentials with modest battery use.
And I think it'll be a very exciting adventure, and I think it's going to work out really well.
Elon Musk said it, and most people heard that and assumed he was just hyping another launch. But what he was really hinting at might be Tesla's biggest shift yet, one that redefines what a $10,979 vehicle can actually be. Tesla didn't just cut production costs. They re-engineered how a vehicle fits into urban life and how it transforms energy use altogether. You'll see it when you realize why this compact design feels built for real people, not just showrooms. And you'll understand it when you learn this car doesn't just use energy, it gives it back. That's what no one saw coming. 1. How does Tesla Model 2's 30% smaller footprint save urban drivers $5,800 annually? Here's what Tesla buried in their engineering documentation that nobody's connecting to real-world economics. Tesla Model 2 is approximately 30% smaller in total footprint than the Model 3, measuring roughly 162 inches in length compared to the Model 3's 185 inches. We mentioned this in some previous videos, but we are missing something bigger. It's the practical benefits. Let's start with parking economics, because this is where the compact footprint delivers immediate, measurable value. In major cities globally, parking costs represent one of the largest ongoing vehicle expenses. In cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Houston, Austin, or Chicago, monthly parking rates range from $300 to $800 for standard spaces. But here's the critical detail. Compact vehicle spaces, which Tesla Model 2's dimensions qualify for, cost 25% to 40% less. In San Francisco, a standard parking space averages $400 monthly, while compact spaces average $280. That's $120 monthly savings, or $1,440 annually, purely from dimensional eligibility. Across a typical 7-year ownership period, that's over $10,000 in parking savings alone before considering any other factors. But the advantages extend far beyond monthly parking rates. Street parking in urban cores operates on dimensional restrictions. Tesla Model 2's compact length means it fits into parallel parking spaces that larger vehicles cannot, increasing available parking opportunities by an estimated 40 to 60% in dense urban areas, according to urban planning studies on parking utilization. This isn't just convenience, it's time savings that translate to economic value. Studies from MIT's Urban Mobility Research indicate that urban drivers spend an average of 17 minutes per trip searching for parking. If Tesla Model 2's size reduces that by even 50%, you're saving roughly 85 minutes per week, or 74 hours annually. At median wage rates of approximately $30 per hour, that's about $2,220 in time value recovered per year. There's an energy efficiency dimension that's counterintuitive. Because Tesla Model 2 is lighter and more aerodynamically efficient due to its smaller frontal area, the energy consumption per mile is significantly lower than larger EVs. Early projections suggest it could achieve approximately 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour, compared to the Model 3's roughly 4.0 miles per kilowatt hour. At average electricity rates of 15 cents per kilowatt hour, Tesla Model 2 costs approximately 2 cents 9 per mile compared to 3 cents 75 per mile for the Model 3. For a driver covering 12,000 miles annually, that's $348 versus $450, saving $102 annually. Over 7 years, that's another $714 in reduced energy costs purely from the efficiency gains of compact dimensions. Now here's where this gets really interesting for urban congestion and maneuverability. Tesla Model 2's turning radius is projected to be approximately 33.5 feet, compared to the Model 3's 38.7 feet. This tighter turning radius means the vehicle can navigate narrow urban streets, make U-turns in confined spaces, and execute parking maneuvers that larger vehicles simply cannot. In cities with dense historic districts or narrow street layouts, this isn't a minor convenience. It's the difference between access and exclusion. Entire neighborhoods become accessible to Model 2 owners that are effectively off limits to larger vehicles. There's a toll and congestion pricing dimension that's becoming increasingly relevant. Cities like New York charge congestion fees for vehicles entering central districts, with rates varying by vehicle size and emissions. New York's congestion pricing program, set to expand, charges standard vehicles $15 for zone entry, but compact low-emission vehicles qualify for reduced rates of approximately $9. That's $6 savings per entry. For commuters entering the zone 5 days weekly, that's $30 weekly, or $1,560 annually in congestion fee savings. Similar programs are expanding to San Francisco and Los Angeles, making compact EV dimensions increasingly valuable for urban access. There's a commercial application dimension here that's remarkable. Delivery services, ride-sharing drivers, and urban logistics operators lose enormous amounts of time and money due to vehicle size constraints. A compact EV that can access narrow alleys, fit into tight loading zones, and park in restricted areas while delivering low operating costs per mile represents a massive operational advantage. Tesla isn't marketing this explicitly, but Tesla Model 2's dimensions make it potentially the ideal last-mile delivery and urban mobility vehicle. Companies operating fleets in dense cities could see operational cost reductions of 20 to 30%, purely from the size efficiency, which translates to faster delivery times, reduced fuel costs, and better space utilization. Let me give you a concrete calculation of total annual savings from compact dimensions. Monthly parking savings, $120 monthly, or $1,440 annually. Time value from reduced parking search, $2,220 annually. Energy efficiency gains, $102 annually. Congestion pricing savings for urban commuters, $1,560 annually. Potential insurance savings from lower vehicle value and reduced accident risk in tight spaces, estimated $500 annually for urban comprehensive policies. Total annual saving is now approximately $5,822. This is recurring value that compounds every year of ownership, making the effective cost of owning a Model 2 dramatically lower than the sticker price suggests. Here's the strategic insight Tesla is betting on. Urban density is increasing across America. By 2030, 83% of the US population will live in urban areas, up from 80% in 2020 according to Census Bureau projections. Cities are implementing congestion pricing, restricting vehicle sizes in historic districts, and creating compact vehicle incentives to reduce traffic density. Major metros including Los Angeles, Seattle, Portland, and Washington, D.C. are actively studying London-style congestion zones. Tesla Model 2 is engineered specifically for this future urban landscape. It's not a compromise. It's optimization for the environment where most driving actually occurs. So, how you value Tesla Model 2 versus larger EVs? Common the keyword $5,800 if the urban cost savings make this vehicle more appealing. This urban optimization strategy reveals Tesla's understanding of where vehicle usage is heading, but there's one more dimension that's completely unexpected and potentially the most impactful for how we think about vehicles as assets. 2. How is Tesla Model 2 designed as a grid-scale energy storage infrastructure component? Here's the element nobody's discussing. Tesla Model 2 isn't primarily designed as a vehicle. It's designed as a distributed energy storage node that happens to provide transportation. This sounds absurd until you understand the economics of grid-scale battery storage and Tesla's actual business model evolution. Tesla Energy is becoming larger than Tesla Automotive in revenue potential, and Tesla Model 2 is the bridge that connects these business units into an integrated energy ecosystem. Let's break down the math that makes this extraordinary. Grid-scale battery storage is expensive, costing approximately $350 to $500 per kilowatt-hour installed. A Tesla Megapack facility providing 3 megawatt-hours of storage requires roughly $1.2 million in capital investment, plus land, infrastructure, and permitting that can take years. Now consider this. 1 million Model 2 vehicles, each with a 55 to 60 kilowatt-hour battery, collectively provide 55 to 60 gigawatt-hours of distributed storage. If Tesla can access even 20% of that capacity through vehicle-to-grid agreements with owners, that's 11 to 12 gigawatt-hours of grid storage that customers paid for. That's distributed across the entire service area, and that's already connected to the grid through charging infrastructure. Here's why Tesla engineered Tesla Model 2 specifically to enable this. The battery chemistry reportedly uses lithium iron phosphate cells that tolerate many more charge-discharge cycles than conventional lithium-ion, potentially 20,000 to 30,000 cycles, compared to 2,000 to 3,000 for standard EV batteries. This means the battery can perform grid services, cycling daily to support grid stability without degrading vehicle utility. Tesla can compensate owners for grid service availability, potentially $30 to $80 per month, depending on market and commitment level. For budget-conscious buyers, this monthly payment directly reduces transportation costs, making the effective cost of vehicle operation remarkably low. The strategic implications are staggering. Utilities face massive challenges integrating renewable energy because wind and solar are intermittent. They need storage to balance supply and demand, but building storage infrastructure is capital-intensive and slow. California alone needs an estimated 52 gigawatt-hours of storage by 2030 to meet renewable integration goals, requiring approximately $20 billion in Megapack deployments. Tesla is creating a distributed storage network by selling vehicles to consumers who fund the battery deployment, then aggregating that capacity for grid services. Just 200,000 Model 2 vehicles in California with vehicle-to-grid capability could provide 11 gigawatt-hours of storage, or 21% of the state's 2030 target, funded entirely by consumer vehicle purchases rather than utility capital expenditure. For grid operators, this changes infrastructure economics fundamentally. California Independent System Operator pays approximately $100 to $200 per megawatt hour for energy storage services during peak demand periods. If Tesla aggregates 10 gigawatt hours of Model 2 capacity and provides grid services for just 4 hours daily during peak periods, that's 40 megawatt hours of service worth $4,000 to $8,000 daily, or $1.46 million to $2.92 million annually. Tesla can share this revenue with vehicle owners, creating a passive income stream that makes vehicle ownership economically compelling even for people who barely drive. There's a resilience dimension that's increasingly critical. Texas experienced devastating blackouts during the 2021 winter storm, with grid failures leaving millions without power for days. A distributed network of Model 2 vehicles with vehicle-to-home capability could provide emergency backup power to households during grid failures. A Model 2 with a 60 kilowatt-hour battery can power an average American home, drawing 30 kilowatt-hours daily for 2 full days. During emergencies, these vehicles become mobile generators, providing life-saving power for medical equipment, heating, cooling, and communications. This isn't theoretical. Tesla already offers vehicle-to-home capability on Cybertruck, and Tesla Model 2 is architected to include this from launch. Let's ground this in a city that actually tests every promise an electric car makes: New York. You own a Tesla Model 2 and commute about 20 miles a day across Brooklyn and Manhattan. That uses roughly 5 kilowatt hours of energy. You charge overnight, when Con Edison's off-peak rate averages 13 cents per kilowatt hour, costing you just about 65 cents a day, or $237 a year. But here's where it flips. During the workday, your Model 2 sits parked in your apartment building's garage, still connected to a bidirectional charger. Between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m., when the grid in New York City faces its highest strain from air conditioning loads, your vehicle makes 25 kilowatt hours of battery capacity, available for vehicle-to-grid pilot programs. In return, the utility pays you around 10 cents per kilowatt hour exported during peak hours, adding up to nearly $550 a year. When you subtract your annual charging cost, you're left earning about $313 a year simply for letting your car help stabilize the grid. In other words, your Model 2 doesn't just save you money, it's turning grid pressure into passive income. And during those brutal August heat waves, when rolling blackouts used to threaten parts of Queens or the Bronx, your parked car becomes part of the system keeping the lights on, and the air conditioners are still on. There's an autonomy angle here that's unexpected. As Model 2 vehicles become capable of autonomous operation, they can automatically relocate to areas of high grid demand or renewable energy surplus. Imagine thousands of vehicles autonomously driving to solar farms during midday peak production to absorb excess energy that would otherwise be curtailed, then redistributing that energy to urban areas during evening demand peaks. The vehicles become mobile energy transport, solving the geographic mismatch between renewable generation and consumption. This is possible only with a standardized, autonomy-capable, grid-connected vehicle produced at a massive scale. Tesla Model 2 is specifically architected for this future. And take a small question: how do you value it compared to conventional vehicles? Comment $10,979 if the grid services revenue potential influences your interest. Tesla. Model 2's true innovation isn't the price. By solving urban efficiency through compact dimensions that deliver $5,800 in annual savings, and architecting vehicles as dual-purpose transportation and energy assets, Tesla created a product that's viable in markets and use cases where EVs have been completely non-competitive. This is what no one saw coming. Not a cheaper Tesla, but a fundamentally different category of vehicle designed for problems that most analyses don't even acknowledge exist. If this analysis gave you a different perspective on what Tesla is actually attempting, share this video. And if you value this kind of deep strategic breakdown, subscribe for more. For years, the idea of a truly accessible Tesla lingered in the background. Now, a compact model on a 2026 timeline aiming under $10,795 brings that promise within reach. The real question is whether that price can survive contact with reality, materials, manufacturing, and the everyday refinement buyers expect. Can smart choices on the outside, from clean LED lighting and laminated glass to simple aero panels, carry a premium look without premium cost? Inside, will tactile surfaces, an intuitive screen layout, and quiet road manners feel genuinely upscale? And underneath, can sensible brakes and suspension geometry deliver comfort and confidence while keeping maintenance light? We will test each claim step by step, from the body to the cabin to the hardware that keeps it rolling. 1. What makes Model 2 look premium at around $10,000? A smart lighting package is the first win for the Tesla Model 2 because it combines a premium look with simple, serviceable parts. Instead of a complex matrix headlamp system, the car can use standard LED projectors paired with a continuous DRL light bar. The projector optics still deliver a crisp cutoff that keeps glare out of oncoming traffic, while the DRL signature remains clean and recognizable from a distance. The real upside is cost and repairability. High-end matrix or laser assemblies can add several $1,000s per pair when you include the light modules, cooling hardware, and a dedicated control ECU. A projector setup uses fewer emitters and simpler electronics, so the total parts bill falls sharply, and a minor parking scrape becomes a quick module swap rather than a full lamp replacement. That lets Model 2 look upscale in the showroom and stay affordable at the body shop. From what you see, move to what you feel inside the Tesla Model 2. A laminated windshield with a PVB interlayer, combined with side glass that filters UV and trims infrared heat, can make the cabin noticeably calmer and cooler. Acoustic windshields have been measured to cut up to about 6 decibels at higher frequencies, with a typical overall cabin reduction of roughly 2 to 3 decibels. That reads small on paper, but is very clear to the ear during highway cruising. Quality automotive glazing can block up to about 99% of UV, which protects soft-touch surfaces from fading, while IR control helps lower parked car temperatures by several degrees Celsius. Less solar load means the air conditioner does not have to work as hard during the first minutes after you start driving, which saves energy and helps the Tesla Model 2 deliver consistent range in hot weather. Finish where efficiency hides, under the car and around the wheels. A flat underbody panel in recycled polypropylene smooths airflow beneath the Tesla Model 2. PP is light at roughly 0.90 grams per cubic centimeter, compared with steel at about 7.85 grams per cubic centimeter, so large parts are inexpensive to mold, easy to handle on the line, and cheap to replace if damaged. Smoothing the underfloor can trim drag by a few counts of CD, often on the order of 0.005 to 0.010, which translates to real watt hours saved at 60 to 70 miles per hour. Pair that with sculpted aero wheel covers that calm rim turbulence, and you gain measurable range in everyday driving. Independent tests have shown aero covers improving efficiency by around 3.4% across several speed bands. Add these percentages together, and you get a clean, modern exterior that looks high-end while helping the Tesla Model 2 travel farther on each charge without paying for a larger battery. You know the Model 2 at around $10,000 includes all three. Which one makes the biggest difference in daily use for you? A. LED projectors with a continuous DRL. B. Laminated windshield and UV IR side glass. C. Flat PP underbody panel with aero wheel covers. Comment A, B, C with one short reason. 2. How does Model 2 make everyday interactions feel satisfying and seamless while holding the price line? The smartest path is to start with the touch points you use every day and then build outward, because this is where perceived quality and cost control meet. For the window system, Tesla Model 2 can standardize one-touch operation on all 4 doors and certify anti-pinch compliance to FMVSS118, which requires the glass to stop and reverse before clamp force reaches about 100 newtons. That keeps fingers safe without adding exotic sensors. Pair this with 3-lip hollow weather strips that seal tightly, so you get a solid muted door close feel while dust and rain stay outside. Water management is just as important. Many manufacturers target around 300 Pascal spray for 10 minutes with 0 ingress during validation, which is a practical benchmark for Model 2. Hidden pressure relief vents at the rear of the body allow cabin air to escape as the door swings shut. The latch does not have to fight trapped air, so the door clicks home with less effort, and the action feels quietly premium. From that confident close, the next touch point is the handle. A mechanical flush handle is a cost-balanced choice for Tesla Model 2. Compared with motorized pop-out designs, the mechanical layout removes a 12-volt motor and several position sensors, eliminates dozens of small gears and levers, and can trim roughly $50 to $100 per car depending on volume and supplier terms. Durability is strong as well. A well-engineered mechanical handle can be rated for about 50,000 to 100,000 open cycles in bench testing, which aligns with long-term ownership. The flush surface keeps the body visually clean and reduces small aerodynamic disturbances near the beltline without adding complex mechatronics that raise warranty risk. Once the mechanical interactions are sorted, entry and startup should feel seamless. Phone as Key delivers that for Model 2 using Bluetooth. In typical conditions, the handshake completes in under 1 second, so the car is unlocked as you reach for the handle. Adding ultra-wideband improves ranging accuracy to roughly 10 to 30 centimeters, which tells the car which side you are on and reduces false positives that can happen with signal strength systems. Security and convenience still need a simple backup. The 13.56 MHz NFC keycard fills that role and sells for about $40 per 2-card pack. Owners get a reliable physical credential for valet use, phone battery emergencies, or lending the car to family. Together, these choices give Tesla Model 2 a premium everyday feel that is easy to notice, straightforward to service, and disciplined on cost. 3. How can Model 2 ride smoothly and planted without an expensive multi-link setup? Tesla Model 2 can start with a simple yet effective foundation that prioritizes stability, comfort, and cost. A rear torsion beam paired with a Watts link keeps the axle centered as the suspension moves, so the rear wheels stay aligned in corners and at speed. Compared with a multi-link layout that can add 4 to 6 links and 6 to 8 rubber bushings, the Beam plus Watts link uses fewer parts, weighs less, and is easier to package. Fewer joints mean less compliance growth under load, which helps the car track straight over bumps, and reduces the small steering corrections drivers often make on imperfect roads. Add hydraulic bump stops with roughly 20 to 30 millimeters of stroke at the end of travel, and you get a small oil cushion that trims peak wheel impact loads, settles the body faster after potholes, and avoids the hard top-out sensation, all without expensive adaptive hardware. Building on that hardware, Model 2 can improve comfort with frequency-selective dampers. These dampers are supple for small, high-frequency inputs like surface chatter in the 10 to 15 Hz range, then firm up for larger body motions in the 1 to 2 Hz range, such as heave, pitch, and roll. The target is a damping ratio near 0.2 to 0.3 for primary body control, which feels composed without being harsh. Because the system is fully passive, there are no sensors, wiring looms, or electric motors to power and maintain. The outcome is city comfort on broken pavement and highway confidence in crosswinds, or quick lane changes, while the bill of materials stays lean and the unsprung mass remains low. To finish the package, specify 4-wheel disc brakes with corrosion-resistant coated rotors, low-dust ceramic pads, and an integrated electronic parking brake on the caliper. Zinc flake or similar coatings commonly withstand 600 to 1,000 hours in standardized salt spray comparison tests, which helps rotors resist rust rings after wet commutes or winter storage. Ceramic pads generate less visible dust than many semi-metallic compounds and provide a stable friction curve for predictable pedal feel in daily use. An integrated EPB removes long steel cables and pulleys, typically saving a few kilograms compared with cable systems, and it enables conveniences such as auto hold at stoplights and hill starts. Rotor sizes can remain modest, for example around 260 to 280 millimeters in front of a light compact EV, which keeps rotating inertia and replacement costs down. 4. How is Model 2's cabin premium to the touch yet durable and easy to live with? Start with the surfaces you touch most. Seat and armrest panels in 3D knit fabric made from recycled PET can be shaped directly to the form, which means little to no cutting, lower scrap, and a refined woven texture that looks upscale. Automotive interior textiles at this level commonly meet abrasion standards above 30,000 Martindale cycles, and many reach about 100,000 cycles, so the fabric resists wear over years of use. On other touch points, TPO skin grain coverings feel soft, resist scratching, and keep cabin odors low. TPO skins can be heat formed onto rigid substrates, so shapes stay crisp even after the car bakes in the sun. The result is a Tesla Model 2 cabin that feels premium where your hands land without expensive, high-maintenance materials. Comfort then depends on seat structure. A dual-density cushion pairs a softer top layer that cradles the body with a firmer base that holds the shape. An overall foam firmness around ILD 37 sits in a sweet spot that feels plush yet supportive when cornering or braking. This layered approach keeps hips and lower back from sinking over time, so you do not need lots of extra motors to mask wear. Add an optional lumbar support, either electric or air bladder, and a smooth ratchet-type height adjuster for durability and precise positioning. Model 2 spends money where it matters to the body, not on complexity you will rarely use. Daily ease of use comes from a clean interface. A 11-inch center display with anti-glare coating and optical bonding reduces internal reflections, so content stays readable in bright sun. Good coatings can bring surface reflectance down to about 1%, which makes graphics look crisp and reduces eye strain. A fixed HVAC control bar just below the screen keeps temperature, fan, and defog at your fingertips, so you are not hunting through menus while driving. For phones, a well-designed wireless pad matters because real-world key efficiency is often about 60 to 70%. Magnetic alignment and a heat-spreading base keep temperatures in check. With Qi 2 support, standardized magnetic alignment, and up to 15-watt charging make top-off sessions faster and more consistent in a hot cabin. Small details like these add up to a premium feel every time you use the Tesla Model 2.5. Which features help reduce Model 2's total cost of ownership while preserving its look for years? Keeping ownership costs low while preserving a premium look starts with the unglamorous parts that owners feel in their wallets. The right strategy for the Tesla Model 2 is to prioritize components that repair quickly, age slowly, and resist corrosion. This matters far more in real life than showy tech that is expensive to service. Parking lot bumps are inevitable, so the Model 2 should turn low-speed repairs into a routine job. Bolt-on crash boxes positioned behind the front and rear fascias, paired with quick-access service panels, allow a technician to replace only the energy-absorbing block rather than the entire carrier. At typical 10 to 15 kilometers per hour taps, this change can convert a multi-day structural procedure into a 2 to 4 hour appointment. Parts costs also stay contained. A stamped or extruded crash box is often a low hundreds of dollars item rather than a 4-figure fascia and reinforcement package. That keeps the Model 2 invoice from spiraling and gets the car back on the road faster. Road grit and rain come next. Non-woven PET wheel arch liners damp stone impact noise by roughly 2 to 4 decibels compared with hard plastic panels, which the driver and passengers perceive as a calmer cabin on rough pavement. These liners are typically 40 to 50% lighter than rigid plastic, saving several kilograms across 4 arches and shedding dirt more easily after a rinse. Pairing the liners with an elastic underbody coating that resists chipping limits, paint loss from gravel, and prevents exposed metal at the lower sills. The result for the Tesla Model 2 is a cleaner look over time, fewer touch-ups, and a cabin that sounds better without heavy sound insulation. Long-term value is then locked in with smart corrosion control. Zinc flake-coated fasteners commonly withstand about 600 to 1,000 hours in standardized salt spray comparison tests, far exceeding many electroplated zinc screws. That extra margin helps threads break free after winters and coastal exposure. Add cavity wax application inside hidden seams such as door hems, weld flanges, and frame sections. The wax wicks into tight gaps where water and salt tend to sit, so welds stay cleaner and future disassembly is easier. Over a 5 to 10 year horizon, these steps reduce nuisance rust repairs, cut seized fastener labor, and help the Tesla Model 2 keep its premium surface quality with less upkeep. Today's breakdown was not about hype. It was about whether a small Tesla can be built to a price that starts with a 10 while still feeling right to use. If these choices make it into production, we may see the most approachable Tesla yet, practical first and flashy second. From here, we will track timelines and early test cars to see what sticks. If that shift in innovation gets you excited, hit subscribe to Autogearshift. Help us reach 15,789 subscribers. Turn on the notification bell, and share in the comments. What trade-off would you accept for a smarter drive?